Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Scene for Salem by Night. Miss Eliza Marie, a young woman who has been in Fairy for quite some time since she was a little girl, has finally managed to escape her keeper. And she is running through the hedge at the fastest her feet will carry her. I imagine probably fairly distraught. And the hedge gets so thick as she's running that she can barely basically get through it at the pace that she would go. It starts to clear up again, and she sees a full moon overhead as she's running, which is good because it gives her the visibility of about 20 feet in front of her in this dark primordial wood that she comes out into. Uh, the brambles of the hedge falling behind her. Um, she realizes now that she is no longer in the thorns and uh, briars that made up the hedge. So what does she do?
She's going to look around and make sure that her bag is still with her. Check, make sure that she's not damaged, and make sure that nobody was following her.
Okay, all clear. She has a couple of minor scratches and cuts and things like that from the thorns. Nothing, that's like gonna fucking bleed her out right now. Um, her gear is pretty much okay. She might have a couple of rips in her clothing and stuff like that, but for the most part, she's okay. But this wood is just, it's so dark, it's pressing in on her. And as is fairly common in very dark woods at night, it is very loud. There's the crickets, there's the cracks, the wind moaning through the trees. There's every once in a while you'll hear the scree of an owl and the skitter of an animal, probably meeting its fate at that owl's talons.
And she'll look up at the moon and sort of press herself to a tree and look around. She is terrified. She's shaking. She's not okay.
To the front of her, she'll see there's like some low lying shrubbery and bushes and trees, and she'll see the bush move just a touch, and she'll hear a very soft a growl.
And she actually squeaks and presses herself to the tree even more.
And she'll hear a more strong, like a snarl. As eyes glow and begin to emerge from the bush, a humongous wolf. It all for the world of what you remember essentially looks like a werewolf.
And she'll yelp softly and look around, but stay glued to the bark of that tree, like pressing herself into the tree to the point where it probably winds up cutting her a little bit because she's just trying to become one with the tree and hide.
It will step out and come over to her and sniff. It's like it. She can essentially feel the cool off of its nose. And then hot breath kind of wash over her. And admittedly, a very fetid smell of flesh and dirt and just that primal stick, that a beast like this would have on it. It does have scars on its face. You do notice that it has that air hanging about it, that same, the power of the weird, the mantle, as your character, but stronger.
Well, that makes no sense to her at this point. She just
Yeah.
sort of. She's clutching her bag in front of her and shaking and trying not to make eye contact with this giant beast.
In a very guttural and broken voice, it says, "Why not running?"
So I won't die tired?
And he'll look at her. She'll feel its arm wrap around her waist and pull her to it.
She just closes her eyes.
And it will leap. And just, like, basically cling to its body with, like, one arm. And with the other three, just begin running.
She holds her bag and just keeps her eyes so tight that it almost hurts.
He'll run for God only knows how long, actually. It's one of those situations where it could have been 5 minutes, it could have been an hour. It's just so. You know what I mean? It's so unreal, it's hard to calculate the real time that passed. But you'll hear, okay, so for a very long time it sounded like the pounding of feet on dirt, and then suddenly it sounds like the pounding of feet on, like, wood, and then you hear, like, a door being flung open. And you're dropped. But it feels warm.
And she'll slowly crack open one eye.
There's a fire in a fireplace.
And then the other eye will open. And she'll look around.
She's in what seems to be a very dilapidated, falling apart, and yet still inhabitable. What seems to be like a Victorian style room. And the wolf monster has essentially pulled back and is looking at her.
And she's relatively small. She's probably just over 5 feet tall and very thin. And she's got like the curves of a woman that are just starting, but she's definitely looks very young. And at this point, she's tattered and torn, bleeding, and absolutely terrified.
He'll furrow his brow, and he'll go into the kitchen, and you hear like noises and clatters and banging, and you hear something shatter, and like a, and then he'll come back out, and he'll drop in front of her an apple, a chunk of bread, a like wedge of cheese, and he puts down like a plastic cup of water.
Thank you.
And he'll go and lay in front of the fire.
And she'll very carefully and very slowly eat. And it's one of those eats that she knows that if she eats it all, she's going to get sick right away. So she's very carefully taking her time and picking how much and what she eats of what was given to her. Like, she doesn't look malnourished, but she looks like she was very, very controlled.
What do they call you?
My name is Eliza.
He'll knit his brow. The girl with the red cloak calls me the big bad wolf.
And she'll blink a few times and look. Little Red Riding Hood?
He'll nod.
That's a fairy tale.
Yes. We were legend and fairy. Now we live here.
Well, I don't exactly know where here is or where I was.
This is... He'll think for a moment. I call it the witch's tomb. The humans call it Salem. Many women died here.
And she'll nod. Yes. The Salem witch trials.
And he'll nod. Man died too, Giles Corey.
Crushed by a rock.
He'll nod. Went to place he died. Saw him.
Saw him?
Can see past the veil that separates living and the dead.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
He'll lay his chin like on his paws.
Then again, I'm talking to a wolf. And and she just kind of flops.
He'll kind of furrow his brow.
I'm sorry, I've been running for, I think, 3 days.
Tired?
And she'll nod.
He'll pick her up again, and he'll not run, but kind of quicker, climb up the stairs. And he kind of takes it at jumps at points. And he'll push one of the doors open, and he'll kind of very carefully, almost like she's a doll, put her down on one of the beds. Like there's a bed in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's two of them. Like one is like they're like, you know, like those Victorian houses you'd have two beds.
Yep.
He'll put her in it. And he'll like pull the covers over her. And he'll kind of like look around and he'll find like an old, beat up, slightly dusty Victorian baby doll. And he'll press it to like her chest. And he'll sit down.
She'll actually kind of give him half of a smile and hold the doll a little closer.
Other bed is slept in by, he'll think, Gretchen. She's sleeping now. And he'll hold a fucking clawed, huge taloned finger up to his mouth and lets off like a guttural, almost spittle. Like, be quiet.
And she sort of looks over at the other bed.
Yeah, it's empty. So empty.
And she holds that doll just a little bit closer.
Do you want me to sing a nighttime song?
Sure.
He'll sit down. He'll kind of like he'll sit crouch again. And he'll look over at the window and like see the moon. And he'll tilt his head back a little bit. And his throat moves and his mouth moves. What comes out of it is an ethereal howl, but very soft and melodic. And it's almost as though other howls are with it. You know what I mean? Like it's layered.
Okay.
And he's a night singer. And so he'll basically just sing this very primal wolf and out like lullaby to her.
And she'll actually listen and close her eyes. Actually going to some. She's gonna wits empathy just to see the tone of the song. And there's two successes on that.
Okay. The tone is like what one would sing to someone you were trying to comfort. Not quite like one would sing to like a puppy, but like what someone would sing to someone that was afraid and they were trying to calm them.
She'll relax a little bit and sort of snuggle into the bed.
He'll finish and sit, like he'll look at her to see if she fell asleep.
Her eyes are closed. She's not quite sleeping, but she is relaxed.
He'll lay down.
Every once in a while, she'll open an eye and look at him.
He'll lift his head when she doesn't look at her.
And she'll just look. She doesn't really say anything. She just looks and then closes her eye.
He'll rest his head on the edge of the bed after a while.
She'll reach out and sort of pet his muzzle a little bit.
He's got very deep scarring. Like on the scars that are on his picture, he has.
Okay. Like the first time that she pets him, she looks to make sure that it's okay.
It's okay. He doesn't suffer.
And then she'll continue. And eventually she'll reach up and sort of pet behind his ears.
That's so many dice to roll. To not flop dead on the bed. Thank God he made his composure roll. He'll like shake his ear as though it's making him happy. And like groan softly.
You're not so bad after all, huh?
Not to those who do not prey on the weak. To those who consider themselves predator, they are my prey. And I am merciless.
Well, it's a good thing that I'm just... Well, I don't know what I am. And she sort of furrows her brow and looks at the baby doll. He might realize something.
Hmm.
The outfit that the baby doll is wearing and the outfit that Eliza is wearing are very similar.
He'll sniff at the doll and sniff at her. Are you doll?
I'm a girl. I don't think I'm a doll. I mean, she treated me like a doll, but
Need new clothes.
I have more in my bag wherever that wound up.
He'll bolt. And you hear thunder, 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 thunder. Thunder, thunder. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Thunder, 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 bounce, 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 coming back and drops it in her on the bed.
And she'll open up the bag and pull out a couple different outfits. They're all like very dressy doll clothes, but they're not all the same sort of genre. Like the outfit that she was wearing right now is very Victorian baby doll, but then there's a kimono, there's a few other dresses, there's a little sailor's outfit. And she'll take them all out, and each outfit has a meticulous amount of accessories. Each outfit has a pair of shoes, it has socks, it has a hair clip, it has ribbons, and she'll spread them all out on the bed.
He's sniffing them. Like these clothes?
Well, they're all I have.
Thunder, 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 thunder. About 30 minutes later, he'll come back. Dripping a little bit of blood. And he'll drop a stack of clothing in front of her. With the tags and, like, hangers still hanging off them.
She's gonna look for the source of the blood.
Him. He jumped through the window.
You're hurt.
Been hurt much worse.
And she actually rips a ruffle off of her dress and reaches for him.
I'll let her.
Come here, let me see.
He'll move closer. And, like, put his arm out. He did get one pretty good gash on his arm.
And she'll check it and make sure that there's no glass stuck in it. And then wrap it up.
Yeah, there's only a teeny bit of glass in it. It's one of those things where first aid could take care of it very easily, but whatever. And he'll, like, kind of... He will, like, ah! But then he'll, like, relax.
And she'll tie it and make sure that it's not all gross and exposed. And then she'll lean in and sort of place a soft kiss next to it. There. All better.
He looks confused over the kiss.
Well, that's what you do when you have it. And she stops.
Boo-boo.
And she'll blush and look away. Yeah.
I had mother once. And wife. Used to kiss daughter's boobs. Then her and wife got boo-boo too big for me to kiss.
I'm sorry.
His big shoulders will, like, roll, and he'll go and look out the window, sadly.
She'll come up behind him and sort of stand near him. I was daughter once.
You are a woman now.
I guess.
Soon boys will come to claim you as mate.
They can try all they want.
I'll look at her.
She'll look back like, what?
Are you self-possessed woman? Like Red Hood?
I don't know.
I'll nod and put his head back down.
I think I need to figure out what or who I am before I can figure out anything else first.
If anyone tries to take you as their mate and claim you, tell me, and I will tear their throat out. And then, when you find mate, tell me, and I will threaten to tear his throat out. So he will be good mate to you. If you decide never to take a mate, he'll shrug. Maybe you and I will keep each other company. I don't have a mate now either.
reach up and pat his shoulder.
You should go to sleep. Are you afraid she will come?
She nods.
I am here. She will not come.
She'll go back over to the bed and she'll look through the clothes.
There's something that is akin to pajamas. Some of the clothes are going to be exactly her size. Some will be a little bit bigger, and then some will be a little smaller. He basically rated the smaller size of the junior section, basically, and just started like grabbing handfuls of stuff, and like some underwear, and like some socks and junk like that. He is a fucking human. He knows what he's doing. Like, he's not that divorced from reality. It's just when he's in this form, it's harder. He suffers from derangement.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, she doesn't know that he's also a human, so she just kind of.
Exactly.
She's tickled that the wolf gathered this much clothes that mostly fit.
Yes, he tried to pick the smallish size of clothing. He got extra small and up to like medium. So a couple things might hang, a couple things will be perfect, and some things will be like, oh, okay. That's gonna get some looks.
Well, she'll gather the pajamas and turn her back to him and
He'll close his eyes.
sort of shuffle into the pajamas and fold everything else up nice and neat and set it on her bag next to her on the floor.
She gives a very soft, like.
She climbs up into the bed and looks at the direction of the noise.
He's snoring.
And she'll pull one of the layers of blankets off of the bed. Go over and tuck them in.
He'll nuzzle into it.
And she'll kiss his forehead.
His ear will flick sweetly.
And then she skips over and hops into the bed.
Are you okay with rolling into the next morning?
Sure.
So yes, when she gets up, he is not there.
She frowns and gets herself dressed.
She will hear the sound of singing, but like a person singing. Does she have other languages?
She does.
Which does she have, my dear?
She has American Sign Language, Spanish, French, Russian.
And she understands what he's singing. He's singing in Russian. Well, someone is singing in Russian.
And Latin.
He's not singing in Latin, just Russian. If she goes into the kitchen, this fellow is cooking bacon and eggs. Here, I'll show you. I'm gonna use this non-overlay picture. That fellow is cooking bacon and eggs.
And she kind of slowly wanders curious but cautious.
And he'll lift his head. His eyes are silver, like pure silver. And she can see the markings of him being a darkling, first off. But also he has those faint tracings of being a Ferist. Oh, they're the same kith structure. Actually, no, Night Singers are just Darklings. I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's just a Darkling. But he looks up at her with kind of a look, and he'll spoon some eggs and put 2 slices of bacon on a plate and slide them over to her. How did you sleep? He's big too. He's like 6'3" and like broad.
Yeah, she just kind of blinks at him.
For the viewers, I'll put his actual Rayleigh up now that people know what he looks like.
Yeah, she's just kind of like, her lips are just slightly parted and she's just blinking up at this giant man.
I was worried you would never be able to get any rest.
I'm sorry, do I know you?
He'll give her a very, very soft, gentle smile, and he'll go, like, gently.
Her eyebrows raise and her eyes go huge.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf, big bad wolf. He'll smile.
And she'll look up at him and relax just a little bit.
I am Nikolai Petrov.
And you're a wolf and a man.
I am the big bad wolf.
But you're also a man. Okay.
I'll smile.
Okay. And she'll sit down. What?
And he'll sit down.
What happened to me?
You were a guest of Fairy. At some point in your life, one of the true fae took you. Probably, I imagine. I asked some of the spirits surrounding you to tell me. I was born to this. My father and mother are both of this blood. My mother is Bast, and my father is a phoenix.
My mother is in, well, was in Chicago.
I'm odd.
My father's a stripper. I don't know what that means, but
It is somebody who dances for other people's entertainment while removing articles of clothing.
and she face palms.
He smiles softly, like it's just that shadow of a smile as he butters his toast, sitting at the breakfast table. Again, this house is like somebody would fucking murder to have this goth revival here. He still not eating.
She'll pick up her fork and take a bite of the breakfast.
It's fucking bacon and eggs. You can't fuck it up. Like Maurice didn't make it, but
What year is it?
2016. It is. And he'll pull his cell phone out and look at it. It is March 4th, 2016.
And she... Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Whew. Ow. She, reaches and digs around in her pocket and pulls out a little tiny, sparkly unicorn date book. It's Lisa Frank. It's got a big cartoon unicorn on the front cover, but it's clearly something that you would give a tiny child.
I'll sip his coffee.
And she flips through the pages. The last thing that I have in here was July of 2015.
He'll nod. I need to take you somewhere.
Where?
You need to meet someone who will help you to establish my in this place you have returned to. There are societies that are organized by courts, a bit kin to medieval courts. In this city, the strongest organization is in the courts represented by the seasons. Although there are courts represented by the directions and certain times of the day. Each of them ruled by a monarch. I am taking you to see the Spring Monarch. He is also the he'll furrow his brow and think on the word. It seems as though English is definitely not his like first, second, fourth, or ninth language. This
She'll look at him and in perfect, clear, almost native sounding Russian. Do you prefer this language?
he inwardly sighs and says, "Thank you." He is the local magistrate, one of them.
Well, I've If that's the proper protocol, then
It is. There is procedure in place when people newly return. And it seems as though you are still of a... He's trying to think how to put it politely because he doesn't want to insult her in saying she looks underage. You do not seem a legal adult yet.
Well, I don't really. She's trying to think. Well, I don't know how old I am.
Being a Jane Doe that looks as young as you do, Child Protective Services would scoop you up if we did nothing. And you would be placed into foster care. I don't think you want that, do you?
No.
And he'll nod softly. So eat up, and we'll take you. There is nobody else here, and yet he says, "Will."
Yeah, and there was nobody in the bed.
And he'll smile at her politely.
And she'll eat a good portion of the food. Not the whole plate, but a good chunk. Like all the baked ones. She will eat all the baked ones.
Oh my god. Are you ready? Once she finishes. Looking to see if she's dressed, blah blah blah, that shit.
Yeah, she's dressed. All of her things are put away, including all the new clothes, into her big bag.
He'll take her outside. And ironically and frighteningly enough, he just walks her up to a normal car. He'll open the door for her.
She'll get in the front seat and sit down and look very confused.
And he'll go, it's something... We'll figure out what his car is later. I've got a couple options. It's nothing sporty or crazy.
No, she's not confused.
It would be luxury.
She's not confused. She's not confused over the fact that he has a car. This is the
It's
first
satellite
time
radio.
she's been in a car that she's not strapped into a car seat.
He will look over at her and he'll notice. And he'll say, you should put your seatbelt on.
This? And she points to the window.
No. He'll actually do it for her the first time. Just to show her how it's done.
Oh.
Like that.
And she'll blush. Oh, okay.
And he'll get in. And he'll say, what kind of music do you prefer?
Well, my mother didn't listen to music because she was deaf.
He'll nod. Okay.
And my father listens to a lot of really weird stuff. I don't really remember.
He'll click the buttons on the wheel and switch it on the satellite radio to house. Like club music. Like this.
Sort of, yeah.
And he'll nod. Do you prefer that, or do you want... And he'll switch it back over to, like, the classic station. Like, classical.
That's better.
Okay. That's what I have it set to. And he'll, like, give a very thankful look. So he will drive. No drive, no drive, no drive. Go fast forward. Blah, blah, blah. I'll go to town hall. I'll go to city hall. And he looks at the sunlight as though, oh god, oh god, oh god, why is that thing back outside? And why am I out while it's out? And he'll go into city hall with her. And he'll take her in. And you notice when he comes inside and steps into the office, the man sitting behind the desk, this fellow, stands very quickly, actually. Not so quick that it's like sycophantic, but respectfully. He'll stand up. And he'll say, oh, Your Majesty, and give him an incline of his head.
Yeah, she raises a brow and looks like, what?
And he'll return also. He'll say, good day, Your Majesty. I found this young woman at the edge of the village last night. She is newly come back to us. And the man will give her a very kind look, a very, like, kind of, you know what, let me actually fucking make a roll for him. Because he's trying to adjust to looking at somebody, especially so pretty, nicely, and not like, I'm gonna fuck you. So he does. He manages to actually give her a very polite, caring, like, paternal smile, basically.
And she'll sort of smile back, but she's very uneasy right now.
Is there anything I can do to help you? You seem out of sort. He's got a thick Spanish accent. Not thick, but it's pretty heavy.
Um, I, and she sort of huffs a little bit. Well, I don't know.
Take a seat. And he'll, like, point at the chair, like, but politely. Like, let's start with that.
And she'll sit down and cross her ankles and fold her hands in her lap. And when she sits there, she looks like a perfect little doll on a shelf.
Blinks at that, like, wow. And he'll oh, okay. Actually, Nikolai will look over at her and kind of smile, and then look back at Lucia. She needs a new identity, and possibly for her former to be found. And Lucia will smile and say, do you know where you came from?
And she parrots off an address like a good toddler.
Do you know your parents' names? He'll just shake his head like, oh my god, wow. Like, not like condescending, but like, this is rather bizarre in a very entertaining way. Do you know your parents' names?
My mother's name is Jillian. I don't know what her last name is now. It was Henderson.
He'll nod.
And my father's name is Tom.
And he'll nod. Do you know your parents' phone number?
No. My mother doesn't have a phone. She can't hear.
And your father?
And she'll pull out her little book and flip open a couple pages and hand it to him, and there's a list of like 7 phone numbers.
Why does your father have so many numbers? He'll pick up the phone and give one a try.
They're business phone numbers.
Hold on. And I'll try another one. I imagine none of them work, right? Yeah. Just sigh and shake his head and put the phone down. So he'll kind of look over it I need to make a roll for him very quickly, actually. You see all that? No? It's like something is occurring to him. It's like, and he just, nope. It doesn't happen. So he'll tilt his head. It's as though he's remembering something, and he'll hand her the book and shake his head. How old do you believe you are?
Well, if it's 2016, then 5.
Did you say 5, dear?
Well, she didn't really celebrate my birthday, so I don't know how long I was with her.
What year were you born?
2010.
His jaw drops. Oh my. Oh my. Eliza, we're going to have to find someone for you to stay with. I can't. Normally I hand people false IDs, some money, and set them up with a place to live, but if you were 5, you are 5. You've aged in fairy. I can't in good conscience let you walk out of here without supervision or at least some sort of guardianship set. I'm sorry. I hope you understand.
She'll nod and then just look down at her hands that are in her lap.
I want you to be an established young woman of your own agency. I want you to learn this world and to take every opportunity you have, but I have to make sure that you're safe before. Freedom is a privilege. Miha, you understand? And it's a privilege that can be taken away by several things if abused. You could be jailed, you could be deemed unfit for public life. Before we can let you experience unbridled freedom as an adult, we need to make sure you have what you need to function as an adult in society, being that you were so young when you were taken not so long ago. I'm not trying to patronize you, you understand, right?
And she looks up and she nods.
Nikolai will look over at him and say, she bears the hallmarks of my court. I will guard her. I will see to her care. And he'll say, as is due your right, your majesty. I cannot intervene if that is what you choose to do. And he'll look at her, as the deputy fucking mayor and the one who's going to write this all out. He can't ask her. He'll say, is this amenable to you? Would you like to go with King Nikolai?
Yes, please.
Okay. I need you to give me a few things, and then I'm going to get you some paperwork going, so that you need to go to school, or you how are you on reading, writing, arithmetic? Here, look, simple, okay? It's fine. What is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally mean?
And she'll go through parentheses, yada yada yada, math, yay. She's
Okay.
fine.
Give me a basic description of what the concepts were in Moby Dick. I'll ask her. You don't have to actually answer these out of game. You can just say if she gets it.
She'll make eye contact with him and then answer it in Spanish.
His brows will go up, and he'll nod. How do you write a check? He'll turn the ledger over, like the check ledger, and slide it to her.
She'll look at it for a moment.
I want you to write a check for yourself for how much money you want to get yourself situated.
And she furrows her brow. And she'll write out in very, very delicate, feminine, super flowy handwriting. She'll write out a check for $500.
Okay. But she gets it all right, basically?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine. It takes her a few minutes to figure it out, but
Okay, so it's more a situation where she read the fucking boxes like a smart person.
yeah, like, I may not have done this before, but I can read directions.
Okay, good. Good. That's actually what he was hoping for. He'll tear the check out and sign it and slide it to her. But you still need the ID to cast the check. And I'll wink at her. And he'll go and he'll take about 30 minutes to basically kind of to get her an ID and like a birth certificate, a social security card, stuff like that. And he'll come back to her and he'll say, "When you're a little more settled, my daughter is about your age."
Really?
There are a few people in this town who are near your age, but a lot of them have led very, very hard lives. My daughter has made several poor choices because of the position that she was led in and the ability that I wasn't able to be there for her. You like horses?
I've never really... I've seen them, but I've never touched one or ridden one.
I have a farm on the edge of town. If you want, I can grab some people your age and we can go out there. Avernus is somebody else who's around your age. He's 17. But he'll shrug. That's nothing for right now. It's just plans for later. So you don't feel isolated and so you don't have the opportunity to make friends. They're magi, though. They're not like you. But there are people here, I believe, who are like you. What?
Yeah.
He'll actually touch his chin like, shit, there may not be, actually.
Well, with all due respect, sir, and she leans in a little bit. What am I?
You are what we call the lost. You are a changeling. You are a changeling. You were taken by the fairy of Arcadia and turned and warped in body, mind, and spirit into what you are now. You are no longer human. Nor am I. I was as well. As was Nikolai. Actually, I think Nikolai here, our dear king, was not only born to changelings and a changeling himself, but then suffered the exquisite hell of going to Arcadia. And he'll nod. Yep, that happened. He doesn't say it, but that's his nod. That happened. Some are born this way. Some are taken cannot shake the feeling I'm forgetting something. At 3 in the morning, it's going to come to me, and I'll bolt up in bed and look over at my wife and say, I remember now. He'll pull out from the safe it's not a burner phone in the sense that it's like a fucking track phone flip thing, but it is a Metro PCS smartphone. And he'll activate it, like he'll get it turned on and slip a SIM card in. And he'll hand the box over to her. All the kids seem to enjoy getting to learn what those are. I'm sure your king can help you figure it out. And he'll put a phone number in it and hand it over to her. That's my number in case you need it.
Is there a book? Like on how this works?
You mean, is there a simple and easy manual from point A to point B that spells this all out? He'll smile at her.
Nod.
He'll shake his head. Nope. Just as there are no manuals in life that aren't full of psychobabble and pop psychology. Unfortunately, no. You just learn. Listen, you seem like a smart girl. You seem resourceful. You'll do fine, okay? You will do fine. It will be fine.
And she nods and takes the box and...
Oh, he looks over at the king, by the way, and he's like, oh yeah, man, did you through the window? Really? And he'll, like, shrug. Like, and what? He'll just shrug heavily, like, I'll pay for the damages. And, he'll just shake his head, like, good job.
And then she looks and goes, oh, your arm. And she looks.
It's still got the ribbon on it and it's still gashed. Oh. And he'll say, may I, Your Majesty? And he'll tilt his head and look at him. And Lucio will pass his hand over the wound. And it'll glow softly with that kind of golden light and begin to knit closed. He'll run his thumb over it to make sure it's sealed good and give it a pat. There you go. Now, I'm not giving you Boo-Boo a kiss, though. He'll just turn and, like, shake his head like, nope.
Yeah. Blink, 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 blink.
And, you'll actually see Nikolai, like, smile softly. Like, kind of very, very softly, remembering her kissing his Boo-Boo last night. And he'll sit down and he'll say, do you two have anything else you need of me? Please ask. I'm available for you. And the king will shake his head no. Which, of course not. And he'll look at Eliza like, anything?
She's just kind of staring at the knot wound on Nikolai's arm.
He'll look at her.
Looking at Lucio and then looking back at his arm.
You haven't seen that kind of magic yet. Ah, okay. And he'll smile and nod.
I need a chocolate milk.
There's a diner down the way. Your king is actually in charge of it. I'm sure you'll be able to find some chocolate milk there. Will you two be on your way? And Nikolai will nod, and I imagine you'll nod.
Yep.
You want to do that and then wrap it up?
Sure.
Okay. So he'll take her down to the diner, Mama Joe's diner, and he'll sit down with her. And he'll order a piece of pie. the chocolate silk pie and a normal glass of milk and tell her to get whatever she wants.
She just gets a chocolate milk. She's overwhelmed.
Just watch her. He's holding a manila envelope with like all of her stuff in it.
And she just kind of looks at him and runs her hands through her hair. And as she runs her hands through her hair was in perfect little ringlets. But he can tell that someone sat there and curled her hair for hours and hours, and that it is just not right.
His hair, by the way, is about down to his like waist. And right now it's pulled back, but there's like pieces of it hanging out. It's like the perfect like quote unquote goth look. This guy looks like he could have stepped out of the fucking Craft.
Well, her hair has that Interview with a Vampire Claudia thing going on, where it's those perfect little corkscrew curls.
Nice.
But as she plays with them and fusses over her hair, the curls start to drop.
He'll look at her like playing with her hair, and you notice him smile softly again.
I guess I'm gonna have to learn how to do this on my own.
If you want to. Do you want your hair to be curls?
Well, I've never really had an option.
Now you do. Now you can have your hair any way you want.
And she just kind of looks at him like, really?
My father's hair is so long it brushes the floor.
Did you play jump rope with it?
No, but I choked somebody with it one time.
Well, that works. Did they
Hold on.
deserve it?
He's my brother, so it was probably an overreaction.
Or he deserved it.
Well, not again.
So I take it that this is my new life and I'm not gonna be able to go home, right?
As cliche as it sounds, home is where you make it. You can never really go back home. You can never really go back. All you can do is go forward. And to hold on to the past leaves you there. And those that live in the past have no future. So make a new home. So now you have a home with me.
And she'll nod and look. She just kind of looks at her chocolate milk and like zones out for a sec.
He's just taking in her features.
I just hope my dad's okay.
You will find your father if that is what you wish to do.
Oh, he went missing.
Oh?
He missed my last birthday.
I see.
Yeah.
He'll think for a moment. And you'll see him tilt his head one way and then the other. And bite his lip, as though he's contemplating something.
While he's thinking, she looks up. Well, my mother said something about the lifestyle catching up with him. But I don't know what that means.
Did your father become sick?
I don't know.
He'll touch his lip. No, subnet, that's cool. Take all day.
Huh?
I said, no, subnet, that's cool. Take all day. Son of a bitch! Thank you. You have to yell at it to get to work. Oh, by one. By one. He doesn't have the required art contract by one. Isn't that the way it is, right? He's got contracts with Omen. But he doesn't have it to the level he needs it. That's his lowest contract. He's only somewhat working on that. What is your father's name?
His name is Tom Henderson.
He's very new, but God fucking knows. I'll even take dice off. He does have a good intelligence politics. Your father's member of the Spring Court, that's why.
Yep.
And you said he was a stripper.
Uh-huh.
He'll actually. He has the exact same fucking reaction that the king did. He stops for a moment and he thinks. Thomas Henderson. So familiar.
I think you'd know him if you saw him.
What's that?
Big. He's big like you.
I'm actually small for my family.
How tall are you? And she looks up.
6'3".
Oh, he's taller than you then.
My father is 7'2". And my brother Casper is the shortest. He's 6 foot tall. You'll meet him. He's on his way. He and my sister Anya are preparing to come.
How does your father fit through doors and not? And she rubs her forehead.
Ducking. The doors in his house are tall. But they're normal doors, he just ducks.
Well, I'm sure after the first couple concussions, he learned to duck.
When he was about 16, yes. He used to be taller than that, but he had an accident. Bent his spine a little bit to where it took an inch or two of his height off. And depends on if he's slouching or not. He slouches a lot. He'll kind of slouch like Tully does. Playfully.
She'll smile. And it's the first time that he's seen her really smile.
He'll smile at her. It's actually, he actually smiles too. I thought it was a sloucher.
I just remember my father being very big and very goofy and
What are you doing? Don't do that. Stop. He'll say, I think this is something that maybe the Spring King and I can talk about. Or maybe your heart led you here, and he is here.
maybe.
What do you want to do for today, Eliza?
Do you have any books?
His face goes into a smile. Just a very soft smile. And he'll pay. And he'll nod, like, come on.
She follows.
And he'll lead her. Go back to the car. Back to their house. And he'll take her upstairs. And he'll point out, he'll kind of like, he'll, as he goes to open the door, he'll say, this is my bedroom. Don't want to alarm you.
Oh, okay.
And he'll nod. I'm saving a picture that didn't save right. And he'll take her. And he'll walk her over to like a painting on his wall. Does she know Arabic?
No.
He'll say something in Arabic. And she notices that the painting clicks. And he'll smile actually, and he'll cover her eyes.
She will put her hands over his.
It's fine. He'll kind of pull her close to his form and walk her through. How much do you like books?
Well, the books are really the only reason that I survived.
He'll smile softly. Are you ready?
Okay.
I'll uncover her eyes.
She just lets out like a very surprised squeak.
And he'll smile.
And she takes
Minus out, like, the fucking desk and all that stuff. There's, like, a few desks in there, but that's the style of library it looks like. It's just huge and gothic.
and she'll take like 2 steps forward and just look.
He's just watching her.
And she'll walk over to a shelf and just touch a book. She's not even taking it off the shelf, she just touches it. And she leans in. Hello.
These are those old, leather-bound, meticulously cared and oiled books that a Magi would probably fucking murder his entire cabal to get into this library type thing. Because he has Library 5! And Hollow 5!
Oh, she's talking to the books. Like, that's what she's doing.
You go right on.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll smile at her, and eventually he'll walk over to one of the shelves and pull one of his books out, and kind of go over to the chaise in front of the fireplace that lights basically when he comes near it, and he'll sit down with the book and open it up.
And after like 20 minutes, she'll pull a book off the shelf and come over and sit down, actually on the floor next to him in front of the fire.
I'll look at her and smile. The firelight is glinting off of his silver eyes, basically, as he kind of looks over at her and turning a page.
And the book that she picked, she opens it up, and there's a very, like, the look on her face is a look of comfort. And she'll read out, not out loud, but she'll mouth the words as she's reading them.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, he'll notice that she's not actually reading. She's just glancing over the pages, but she's got the book memorized.
Smile. After about 20 minutes of reading, he actually just stops and watches her.
And she's just going through, touching the pages. Every once in a while, she'll stop and read. Because every book has a different version.
He'll actually kind of swallow tight and grit his teeth and put his book down.
That'll pull her out of her sort of trance, as it were. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just going to step out of it.
She'll nod.
He'll go back out into the room and he'll make sure she's still kind of over in her spot. Again, the painting is in his room, so.
Yeah.
And he'll swing it to where it's basically all but shut. And he'll look around his room for a moment, almost as though he's trying to build the courage to do something. And he'll go over to a black curtain and his fingers will reach up and gently touch the fabric and then pull it to the side. And he looks at a woman's face on a painting as his eyes fill with tears. And he'll look down at a little girl sitting at her feet, basically, you know, like one of those old style portraits.
Uh-huh.
And his fingers will touch the painting. And he doesn't say anything or do anything. He just looks between them for a moment. And he'll draw his hand back, letting the fabric fall back over the painting again. And he'll take a step back and swallow tight. Am I betraying you because I am making a home with another and caring for someone else? I know it's what you would want for me to move on. My heart feels as though I have no future. A sigh softly. And bite his lip. I swear I would never betray you, Tatiana. Now I feel I am. Because I cannot take my heart out of the past. Oh yeah. What a life. What a life. What a life. And he'll turn and he'll step back through the painting and find her again. He looks more relaxed now.
And she's sort of finished with the book, and she's just sitting there holding it.
You want that book?
Oh no, I've read it before.
Just catching up with your old friend?
And she'll smile and nod and touch the cover of the book.
You may take any of the books you want out of here. You don't have to stay in it. She hears a like a snore and almost sees like a puff of dirt go up from the corner, and then she realizes that there's somebody sitting in the corner.
Yeah, that makes her jump.
Archibald is not so taxing on me that I cannot take books out of the library. And he'll smile. And Archibald will almost in his sleep, no, actually directly and deeply in his sleep, complain about the stack of books next to the king's side of the bed. And he'll kind of smile and look back to her. I'm going to prepare us supper.
Would you like some help?
His mind says, say no. It's not appropriate. It's not right. You're betraying her. Bad idea. But his heart says, stop this. You're not living. You're tearing yourself apart. You've moved from fear and into sorrow. And she needs you. And he'll stop. His heart tells him she needs to be needed right now. She needs to feel useful. And chew his lip for a moment. And he'll nod. Of course, yes.
She'll smile and stand up and sort of bounce over to where she took her book from. Not kiss the book, but she presses her forehead to the book in a very odd way if you didn't know what exactly she was doing.
Smiled.
And then she tucks the book back away.
Are you ready to go, my dear?
And she'll look up at him and smile. Let's go.
He'll hold his arm out to her to help her through the frame.
She'll take it.
Did you enjoy that?
Very much so.
I need to teach you the phrase to open the door in Arabic.
Well, I'm sure I could learn Arabic.
That too. No, not. Yeah, we can do that too. We can learn Arabic. I know it. It is one of my two native tongues. I know Arabic and Russian. And then I know other languages, but those were the ones I was raised on.
Do you know sign language?
Actually, remember, yeah, Nikolai did. He'll nod his hand, like yes.
And she'll sign to him. Oh, that's convenient.
He'll sign back. Why?
And she signs to him. Sometimes talking without words is easier.
He'll smile. He'll sign, that's why I learned.
It was my first language.
He'll reach out and he'll begin to carefully unpick, like his fingers begin to kind of pick apart one of her curls. Just kind of freeing it from the spiral.
And it'll bounce free, and then it doesn't go like pin straight, but it gets kind of wavy.
Like it is in her overlay.
Sort of, yeah.
He'll grin and do another one. He'll kind of like wrap his finger around another curl and kind of spiral it like on his finger. And then he'll pull it like taut and let it go to where it bounces. And then he'll use his fingers to start to pull that curl apart.
And she'll reach up and pull out the two pins holding the whole mass of curls up.
He'll walk over to his nightstand and he'll pick up a brush. And he'll walk back over to her and stand behind her and very slowly begin to brush her hair. Like kind of brush out the curls and make it like straight and natural again, very softly and gently.
It takes a while and it gets a little poofy, but it gets
He'll
there.
smile as it gets poofy. And then he'll kind of reach into her hair. His fingernails kind of like scratching her scalp a little bit. Although she does notice that his fingernails feel a little metallic. And he'll slowly begin to basically braid it in like a messy, kind of almost like herringbone braid.
Uh-huh.
And he'll tie it off at the end and smile at her.
When he brushed her hair out, it's actually pretty long. When it was up in the curls, it didn't look as long as it is, but when he brushed it out, it's probably almost to her hips. Like, the girl hasn't gotten a haircut in her entire life, which is 16 years of no haircuts.
Smile. Your hair is so long.
Yeah, she liked it that way.
How do you like it?
Like this.
Smile. His eyes, as he's standing behind her, will look at the curve of her cheek, and her shoulder, and her back, and her neck. And he's learning her. And he'll bite his lip again.
Now, she does have curves. She's not a little stick figure. She's got a little bit of a hip, a little bit of curve. But it's just the beginning. It's the potential for a much more womanly shape someday.
I am going to tear so many throats. He'll just shake his head. So many.
She turns around and looks up at him. You assume that I'm going to frequently leave the library?
I assume that you're so beautiful that men would make a quest to not only get into my house, but my bedroom, learn Arabic, and then seek this great treasure I have within my arcane halls to claim as their own. And he'll smile.
And she bites her lip and blushes and looks up at him. Well, they'd have to get past you first.
It's just not happening. He'll shake his head like,
That's what I figured.
I like the taste of blood, especially when it's coming from men who don't know a woman's true worth or how to value what is before him. That's my most favorite prey.
And she'll reach out and touch him. Just very softly, very curiously.
Ready to touch him?
His chest, because that's what's right in front of her.
I'll look down and smile.
She just kind of like looks up. And then she just blushes, like, whoa.
Smile gently. Do you want to see my tattoos?
Nods. Just nods.
He'll smile. And he'll unbutton his shirt. And he'll pull aside his shirt to the left. And she noticed that it looks as though he has 4 like claw marks raking down from like his shoulder to like just under his sternum. At first you think they're actual wounds, and then you realize that it's just tattooing or like marks. On the other side of his chest, you see he has a very intricate tattoo of like a snarling, and it's very photorealistic basically, but of a snarling wolf basically. Almost as though it's like peering through torn flesh.
And she'll reach out and touch not the wolf, but the other one, the 4 markings. Totally expecting them to be scarred and raised like they look.
Mm-hmm. She would feel that they are flat and just markings on his skin.
And she leans in close and looks at them.
It really is like one of those things where it's amazing that it's flat because it looks so real. It genuinely looks like it's on his skin. Like as though he's been cut, and that's the marking.
Yeah, she like touch.
It's on the screen right now what the tattoo looks like. Except the build doesn't look like that. His build is way nicer than that. But he actually has to lean down a little bit for her to see.
Yeah, she's up on her toes.
And he's bent down about halfway. But that's what that tattoo looks like.
Yeah, she's just like blink, blink, touch.
What's wrong?
It looks real. It's
At one point it was. It used to be real. When I am a member of the Scarecrow Ministry. And when I first joined, that is the marking I took.
I see.
As I grew in power, it'll touch his other tattoo. This one manifested itself. That one looks like this. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like that.
And she'll reach out and touch that one.
That's fine.
I don't have any.
Your skin is such an unmarred and perfect canvas. His fingertips will touch her shoulder. that I would think long, take into great consideration anything that you would put upon it permanent. His fingertips will trace down her bicep.
And her eyelids flutter close.
He'll smile. It does make a composure. Thank God. He bites his lip for a moment. We should. What were we doing?
And she'll open her eyes.
Um,
Her hand is still on his chest.
we should. She can feel his heart hammering against his chest. We should make supper.
She's just kind of like stammering. And she very reluctantly and slowly pulls her hand away.
He'll grab her hand. I guess she pulls her hand away. His left hand will snap up and grab it by the wrist.
Oh.
And he'll bring it up to his face and press it to his cheek.
Which makes her take a step closer because short.
And he'll turn and press his lips to her palm.
And she'll wiggle just a little bit closer.
Maybe instead of allowing you to become a great treasure in my hold that men beat down my door to find, and he'll chuckle, like he'll stop as though he was going to say something, and he'll shake his head and pull away from her after kissing her palm again.
And she'll sort of flick her lips and look up. What? She looks up and says, "What?"
He'll lean down and he'll bring his lips close to her ear. Maybe I will just make you a queen. And he'll kiss her cheek very softly and stand back up. Maybe. Oh.
No, go ahead.
He'll say, Maybe that is where you will find yourself. Who knows? And he'll smile. And he'll start to walk off.
And she'll swoon, like legit.
And he'll bite his lip as he walks out. And I think with that, we can probably end our scene. So, thank you, viewers, for viewing, and thank you, player, for playing.